Sure. Thanks, Galcar, and thanks for having me. So we started a circular economy venture about 3 years ago at DuPont that we call Second Life Materials, and I've been the global technology leader since its inception. Initially, with my commercial counterpart who co-leads the group with me, we started by exploring the broader circular economy space and discovered and assessed a variety of circular materials opportunities that made sense for DuPont to take part in. And then we developed a strategy and hired a cross-functional team of both commercial and technical professionals that make up the venture. So since then, I've been managing a diverse portfolio of circular materials technology development programs, some shorter, some are longer term, across the materials that DuPont manufactures and we know well. And so now I co-lead a large and a growing team that executes on those programs, both in the development and the commercial day-to-day activities. So like in any startup-minded venture, I personally wear a lot of different hats depending on the day, and which makes it a lot of fun for me. But I like helping the team identify necessary capabilities and partners globally, and both externally and within DuPont, and I manage those relationships as well, so that we can all win as we grow the circular economy together. Well, but because DuPont does operate globally and also in so many different markets, we as a circular economy venture are trying to develop solutions across many of them. And we have, as a result, we have a pretty interesting vantage point. So we can observe best practices and technologies available from region to region, and we have the opportunity to learn and adopt those that make sense maybe in other places, right? But when you look at the different regions globally, Europe is certainly leading the way when it comes to a circularity mindset. That's largely driven by the proactive development of policies and regulations there, but I actually really think it becomes a mindset and the people and the businesses that are operating there as a result. And of course, it certainly helps that disposal costs are associated with a linear model of taking, making, and then wasting are higher in Europe than in many other places. So which makes it easier and more attractive to find economically viable circular solutions there. But I'll contrast that to a country like the U.S. where the costs of landfill and incineration remain pretty inexpensive today, and that makes the economics of moving to circularity more challenging in many instances. Plus, there's little policy driving businesses in that direction, at least today. I'll say that there's growing awareness in the U.S. and globally, for that matter, and I'm hopeful that policy and economics will soon follow. But I look at everything from a business model and a technology standpoint, right? And so what's critical to the success of any circular economy solution is being sustainable, is that you get the business model right first. And what we found is that you see significant differences in policy and economic drivers from region to region, and also depending on the specific market that you're trying to serve. And so a business model that works in one region won't necessarily work in another. And so that requires us to be both creative and region specific in developing our business models, also in choosing the technologies that we're going to implement and the local partners that we're going to work with. Because certainly we're not going to move waste materials around the globe to reprocess them. It's hindered by regulation, but it's also just not economically viable. And so then when I look at the technology, right, and how it's deployed differently in emerging regions versus developed countries today, we really have to be thoughtful about that. When it comes to like sorting and separating goods and materials, many in the emerging parts of the world, like parts of Asia and in Latin America, they continue to employ lower cost manual labor, whereas in places like Europe and the U.S. and Canada, as examples, we've moved to more advanced technologies really out of necessity. So the labor costs more and it's more scarce, right? And that's more expensive up front to make those investments, but it quickly pays for itself over time, and it also, importantly, it shows that you value your people as capital. And so this is a dichotomy that we have to understand, and really, I think long term for circular economy, we have to figure out like where it makes sense to invest in technology and in the right partnerships in a given region. And it really has to be, thought out regionally, but I hope that this will be something that globally we all benefit. So I don't know. In summary, I see very different circularity challenges from region to region and market to market. But what excites me the most is that I see a global circular economy community growing, and I think together we have the opportunity to learn and evolve our best practices from region to region, where they make sense, of course. And that to me really excites me, because then I see the circular economy as something global and not just regional. So the Second Life Materials team at DuPont is a circular economy venture that operates like a startup within a large global company, and I think this is a very interesting and powerful business model. So during my brief presentation, I'll share some lessons that we've learned in establishing this kind of entrepreneurial venture within a large company environment, as well as how we found it best to get started successfully from I would say a zero state in advancing circular materials initiatives. And then I'll also share an actual success story example, as well as another that we have in the works, where we're actively seeking additional partners globally, and the petroleum industry actually is one of the important stakeholders in that one. So I'm looking forward to sharing that.